And when I mention dogs, I mean they're being naughty. I don't know if I actually said that last episode, but I was just busy with stuff. That's why I added other reasons why this video is likely going to be coming out later than Jordan expects. Heck, I'm even recording it later than I expect anyway, but let's just get this setup complete because I remember that we have Yogothag and Colt. So, relatively easy if we're to switch to World of Horror for a moment. For some reason, I thought it was on random item stats. But as we get into this Yogothag Colt character, custom character run, yeah, when I say dogs, particularly they're doing something they're not supposed to do in a place they're not supposed to do it. So Charisma, second, Tachi-san, Knowledge, and maybe a Dexterity check. But we are going to lose pretty much about 3 stamina, 2 reason, so yeah, Dexterity, right? Yeah, Dexterity. Maybe Knowledge, we can get that up, but I guess you know what, we'll play with the Occult Shop here, why not? That does deprive me of my vending machine access, but it's fine. So 1 library notes later, and we will move on. But yeah, the other thing I was doing as I'm sitting in, like, there are at least 2 or 3 bowls of finished food around me because I was trying to figure out the best way to put in dialogue for the game I'm developing. Akamanto, Teacher, Flood, Television, and Phantasm. So Flood, Television, Akamanto. The question then becomes which one I take care of first. It's probably going to actually be Television. Phantasms, I would like to take that earlier, but there's not strictly a boss in that, and you can avoid a boss encounter or any hard encounters. Yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment. But yeah, and particularly for RPG Maker, what I'm having a problem with is basically to shorten the issue I'm running into. No weapon, by the way. Small candle. The issue that I'm running into is that you essentially cannot put more than 3 complex sentences in a dialogue box. Now, there's ways to do it. You can make the dialogue box bigger, essentially. For those who don't know RPG Maker, I can explain the issue. You can give yourself more space, but obviously or at least to me, it does not look as nice to the player. Maybe if you add another line or 2 of dialogue that you would like to use, but essentially, a good metaphor or comparison is that you essentially have 4 lines here, just like the in-game chat of World of Horror, and that's essentially the size of the dialogue box for RPG Maker to kind of equalize, to kind of say what things are equal to here. 16% Doom Forest, and we do have, I think, a forest in Mystery somewhere. I'm going crazy. Maybe Flood, we go into the forest. We do have school as well, but let's I know I'm going to do Television, Akamanto, and Flood. And while Akamanto does have school encounters, I think I'm going to take Flood second. So it would then behoove me to put the patrols in the forest, because if I have to visit the forest in Flood, then I will still be able to switch the police patrols to the school when need be. Now, whether or not I'm going to survive this boss encounter is a completely different story. But for the moment, 3 charisma is not going to do me a lot of good, but we'll try our best to survive, I swear. But yeah, dialogue is a huge, and it's something I usually do try to pay attention to when I'm making RPG Maker games exactly, but really just any game in general. If I were, say, working with I always forget what it's called. Renpai, that's what it's called. Look, we might as well try. Well, alright, just attack. That Game Maker Studio, heck, even if I wanted to do something in Unreal or Unity, I would still have to deal with, the types of games I like to make are usually RPG-ish or roguelike games, and a lot of games anyway have some kind of dialogue, whether it's characters speaking, or, let me just make sure I can do, prep attack, or that's, help text when you're opening up an item, opening a book, reading a note, so on and so forth. You only have so much text space, so I think that's a very, how to say it, a skill to have when you are at least developing games, is figuring out how you want to get everything in the space that you have. In my specific case, again, the lines of dialogue. Now, you could just throw any design or text design, what do you want to call it, whatever I know there's a better way to mention it, but I am losing my mind at the moment. But I think oh, it's too old. Never mind. Hold on. Let me focus for a moment. We can throw the wooden bat. I can also handcuff, but I don't think we need to do that, question mark? I guess we're going to find out. Actually, I could have just gone for more attacks. It's not enough. Not unless I do this. Do I want to gamble? We're going to gamble. This should be enough damage, because this is 6 and this is 9. So 15 damage. Otherwise, I'll be option select hand. Okay, good. I was a little slow there, but it's fine. But yeah, you could just throw, you know, the formatting of your text out the window and just write a whole line of dialogue or all of your dialogue within a dialogue box. And what'll happen in RPG Maker is that it'll run over to another box. So say this box of dialogue down here in I was gonna say Akamato. World of Horror is one set of dialogue, but then if you have more dialogue that rolls over so it can't fit anymore, what the game will do is that it'll just make another box of dialogue and put the rest of the text there. And that's not what you normally want to do. But I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. Me, on the other hand, I try instead to basically space or cut your dialogue in places, or even change the dialogue in some cases. But obviously, you know, you might have what a character or what narration you want, and so you're going to try to figure out how to space things there. There are multiple ways, and I mentioned 2, again, or 3, really. You could just forego any formatting in general. But really, one of 2 things. Either you change the dialogue or text outright, or you figure out a way to cut in your dialogue. And that's a little finicky, because obviously you want to pace, you know, specifically when a character, again, in my case it's specifically character dialogue, but it can apply to anything else as well, for game dev reason, by the way. But yeah, if a character's talking, obviously there are pauses that you want to be in the same dialogue, whether it's a comma that breaks or whether it's a period. Maybe you want 2 sentences to be in the same dialogue box for the sake of pacing things. Or you change the dialogue, like I said, you change the dialogue outright and maybe you get better pacing out of it, or maybe it just completely removes the details that you actually needed. As my chair complains underneath me. But that's essentially the problem I'm dealing with at the moment. Especially for key scenes. I wanted to rest, I believe. I think I did, yes. So we're just going to be happy with our run researcher. It would be nice to grab a damage researcher, especially with small candle being as fast as it is, but I think an extra point of damage would be helpful. I just don't like to RNG the events that appear. And as you've seen, it's the forest and the thing. We did have the school as well, so that's something I forgot. So we were visiting a max threat level school, but if I'm worried about Doom, that's normally not the issue. Not something I'm worried about. I actually should have just rolled on 60% here. For the sake of doing as much damage as possible. We can trade off stamina as well, but as I missed 2 60% in a row, if only the game were true in the theoretical RNG. Although that would mean all things, like, to be a bit serious, or to speak, to not do a bit here. I am glad that RNG exists in some cases. Now, in a majority of cases, you actually don't want RNG, but yeah, I think there's a point. We might as well do Desperate Struggle here. Yeah, we might as well do Desperate Struggle. I would like to trade off stamina, but we don't really get the odds. Oh my goodness. I got 7.6%. I think so, right? 40% 3 times? Well. So what we do now is trade off 6 stamina for 3 reason to survive 1 turn. Right after that, though, I don't know why I gambled there. I shouldn't have gambled at all. Well, funny enough, I would rather forget Cauterize for the sake of just getting through this, and I guess we just live with 7 stamina 1 reason. I think even just hitting one of those Desperate Struggle attacks would have been helpful, but the game decided I didn't need to hit any of them, so 60% is actually like 15%, I guess. But we'll move on. Nothing much more to complain about. You gotta keep moving. I would like a... Oh, that's right. Nope. I traded for the Occult Shop. Well, we're gonna look for the Tainted Violin then. And yeah, that's gonna be what we grab. Now, my next question is, do we do a thing? Because the thing about saving our handcuffs there, as I forget to change the police patrols to the school, is that we can use the handcuffs on Akamanto here. Again, specifically for those who don't know, on non-ending A Akamanto. That's a very specific detail that's often missed because I think it's been like, I have not fought true Akamanto for years at this point. The mask just does so much more for you. But -1 all, we can tank this. I'm pretty sure I can one-shot handcuff Akamanto. But you know what? It doesn't hurt to be safe by trying to make these fights efficient anyway. So, as we do 12 damage here, we get to level up, and please give me something. Well, that's better than nothing. I could double up on Folklore Study. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna oh my goodness. I clicked the button right behind the thing. Well, at least we passed that check, but I'm pretty sure that was not our main investigation, as we immediately run into something else. I did forget my second encounter at this point, so again, Doom is not the issue here. Oh my goodness. You know, it would be great to do Desperate Struggle because I think I could fit it on top of all of these attacks. Never mind, I can't. Alright, I lied. Anywho, I think this is a one-tap, right? 3 times 3 plus 4? No, I lied to myself. Well, we do have a long pig stake. I'm just going to walk forward. If our stamina drops to 4 below right in Akamanto, that would make me a bit sad. I'm shrugging in real life. That's all I have to say at the moment. Trade off Doom here. We could just rest at home as well, but I'm going to be a bit greedy here and go for the Restless bonus. The reason why the Restless bonus is, I like. It seems like I value it so much. It is 1 stamina, 1 reason on top of everything else, but as we Akamanto ourselves here, it's essentially a small optimization. If you feel like you need to rest, just be confident and take a rest like I'm going to do right here. And especially since we have Hot Bath, right? Yeah, we have Hot Bath, so 3 Doom, 6 HP, or 3 Stamina, 3 Reason. But, I don't get to Desperate Struggle Akamanto here. So, I'm hoping I get to at least Brace. Now, what do I get for this Brace? It's pretty okay. Still not great, but it's okay. Now, my next question after this is... Oh... I really missed a 95%, right? Oh, that was 95%. Well, at least the RNG is true. You know what? I would still rather have a game that has true RNG than fake RNG. And a certain emblem of flames and fire. Well, I'm pretty sure that game has fake RNG if we're trying to say something. I'm just going to Gambler's Fallacy it. Okay, good. We missed 1 attack, but we didn't need to hit every single one. I think the strong attack was the what I needed to hit. Roads closed, doesn't matter. Well, it kind of matters, but I don't care as much. Teacher and Phantasm. So we can't take Teacher now. I'm mostly taking Doom for it, so I might as well fight... Yeah, I might as well take Teacher now. Yeah, I might as well take Teacher now. I didn't mean to unequip my Tainted Violin, but now I have to live with the choice. I remember if unequipping the Crestfallen Mask by replacing it lowers my stats, but... I mean... We'll live without the Tainted Violin, I guess. Yeah, I was not supposed to equip the Crestfallen Mask so quickly. If we run into out of funds, we'll trade off Reason. But yeah, I guess we're gonna see what's gonna happen. 7 strength, nope. Rolled an 11 plus 1 modifier. All I can do is laugh. Laugh. Why did I add a T or G? No things. That's useless, and this is useless. Everything's useless. We'll take CQC trading. You never know, though. We'll take 8 strength, and off we go. Should have healed stamina instead, but we'll be fine. And as promised, we trade off Reason for 2 funds. Well, yeah, otherwise just kind of sitting here outside of recording. I'm still just sitting around trying to develop a game. Had to do research for a tiny bit, and when I say research, sometimes that's looking up something specific to whatever engine I'm using or whatever I'm doing. In my case, it's Game Dev and RPG Maker, the RPG Maker engine. So, you know, just looking up forums on things that people have likely talked about before as we preemptively put this Censor Bunny on screen. Pretty sure we get to Desperate Struggle here, but I think these are guaranteed, right? Okay, these are guaranteed. But yeah, that's all I'm doing outside of recording at the moment. Aside from, you know, taking care of real life stuff. Because like I said, dogs have been naughty, and that means that I need to go and make sure that whatever they messed up is no longer messed up. On top of other things, you know, just regular chores. Oh my goodness, by the way, that's right. 6 Doom. That's kind of fine. Would have been great to take Teacher earlier, but we didn't really get the chance to as Sensor Bunny comes off the screen. And when I talk about Sensor Bunny, I'm normally doing it while recording, so I literally have a hotkey to pull up Sensor Bunny. I'm not doing that post-edit, which is why sometimes you'll see videos where I leave the Sensor Bunny on screen for too long, or the rest of the video, and then I just decide, well, either I'm going to record another video, or I'm just going to leave it, because maybe something cool happened, although I'm pretty sure at least 50% of the time, nothing cool happens. But yeah, for Phantasms here, it would be nice if we can pass the knowledge check. I'm pretty sure it's the knowledge check. It would also be nice to succeed these as well. I forgot if these allow you to skip enemies here, but as we're sitting here, nothing else we can do at the moment. We have to brace here as well. Could do a dodge turn, but I don't feel really comfortable. And I think RNG is real enough where you can get 2%ed here, but I mean, at this point, we might as well just roll the dice and see where fate falls. Deft handling, no thingy. We're gonna heal stamina instead here, but let's see if we can pass this knowledge check. The answer is yes, thankfully. And away we go. So something else to note about World of Horror as we kind of just focus for a moment. Is that it is interesting to see events that, you know, because like I said, there are events where, or as you've heard me say before, there are events where you can take free outs, which essentially means you don't nothing happens and you just leave the event. But it's interesting to see the, dichotomy, the other extreme. Basically the other side where you run into an event where maybe you only have, let's just for simplicity's sake, say you only have one choice and it's a success on a stat check. Well, when you succeed, say, Doom lowers by 5 and you gain 2 reason, whereas if you fail, Doom increases by 5. It's interesting to see those kind of events where, again, essentially failing, you lose a lot, and succeeding, you gain a lot. So I think it's fun to see those types of events as well, unless you just go completely crazy and just like remove 10 stamina and heal 10 stamina based on a stat check. Although if you are going to do something like that, you should really only have one max 2 of those events. If at all, but I mean, if you really want to do it, and of course, if it's something fun that you think is fun or is for lore or immersing yourself, I mean, go right ahead. Just know that I will likely not use that event a lot. So, but by the way, we're entering the lighthouse with 59% Doom. We're pretty okay. I think the small candle did a lot of work, but as we just rest here and move on, it also helps to have Flood and Akamanto for the sake of keeping Doom low. I feel like at this point I've still lost more runs through Doom, hitting 100%, or basically through Doom, than something. Wow, that wasn't my second encounter. I must be going crazy. Anywho, yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say. I'm pretty sure that if nothing else, if not that, I would guess Reason, but if I had to put my chips down, I would say I lose the most through Doom. And that includes zero statting, because zero statting increases your Doom. I mean, if you want to exclude that, still, I think I've lost the most through Doom than even Reason lost. But after that, if I were wrong there, I would guess Reason lost. I would be surprised if I lost most of my runs through stamina loss. But anywho, nothing much else to say. If you want to suggest something, you know what to do. If you want to support me, you know what to do. Otherwise, I won't take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching. Bye!